So the fallout continues for AH as it looks like she is out as the UN ambassador. That's right, Newsweek is reporting this, with Jason Momoa picking up a nod and her, falling by the wayside. I mean, that has to make her mad, and it shows you how behind the scenes everyone knows exactly what she did. You and I, we're going to talk about this today. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And recently, there was the perfect vehicle for the UN to bring up AH and to bring up her ambassadorship. You had Jason Momoa. He was actually granted one. He posted about it on Instagram. Now, as you might expect, when the mainstream media starts talking about Jason Momoa, they start talking about awards in the UN, the conversation, it ultimately steers towards AH. And when they bring this stuff up, well, they're starting to have to admit that maybe, just maybe, there are ramifications and repercussions for her actions over the last 6 years. This is Newsweek, by the way, the place that put out not one, but 2 hit pieces on me for covering this stuff. Even they can't deny it any longer. Listen to this, it's beautiful. While the Momoa pushes for cleaner oceans, they are considerably more murky for AH, who for a handful of years has served as a human rights champion of the United Nations Human Rights Council. That is insulting and beyond, by the way, to know what she did, to know what she was rewarded for. Oh, man. Up until recent high-profile defamation court battle with ex-husband JD, AH was part of the organization's website with her own dedicated page. Post-trial, though, it appears that the page has been removed. That's right. They decided to scrub her. They don't even want to pretend that she was part of it. They've out and out flushed it away. Now, you don't have to take the mainstream media's word on this either. You can search for the link. Just simply search AH's name plus OHCHR. You'll find the link that it once belonged to with a partial statement here. Notice I said once belonged to as well, but the partial statement reads, I will respect your rights regardless of who you are. I will uphold your rights even when I disagree with you. But when you click on that link, instead of it going to anything about AH, any type of quotes or whatever, you have it go and redirect to a basic link. This one's actually broken. It looks like it was taken down and replaced really in a lot of a hurry. And when you go in and you search her name through the site, you know what you get here, besides a lot of lag, because it is a terrible website. You get a whole lot of nothing. I mean, you have nothing pop up on her at all. You have none of her statements in this. What you have are a lot of statements about rights. You have a lot of statements about freedoms, a lot of statements about digital space. You have gender equality and on, but none of this stuff comes up with AH attached to it. I wonder why. Maybe, just maybe, that's because millions upon millions of people saw exactly what AH is. Now, if that was the only problem for AH to come up with the UN, I could see that being some kind of snafu, some kind of problem with technology or whatever, but as the mainstream media, as Newsweek is forced to admit, I love it too, because again, Newsweek, they came after me with not one, but 2 hit pieces, but they're forced to admit that there were other websites that were scrubbed as well. That's right, the UN, they didn't just go in and take down her profile page, they took down anything connected to her at all. And you'll notice they're saying right here, at least one other page featuring AH has been removed altogether from the UN StandUpForHumanRights.org website. Again, what she was exposed as. I'm sure people on the Human Rights Council, they cringed. They thought, my God, look at what we've been backing for all of this time. And unlike the ACLU, who got money from this stuff, they weren't getting paid outright by a billionaire, throwing millions and millions of dollars at them. But as they say in Newsweek, they're trying to hold out hope for it here. I love it too. I love seeing their hopes dash because they're saying, well, there's not actually been any announcement made as to whether AH is continuing in her role. I mean, really, do you need an announcement here? Honestly, can't you see the writing on the wall when you yourself are reporting it? Now, the funny thing is that they say that they've reached out to AH and the United Human Rights Council for comment for this, but at the same time, I don't really put a lot of faith in them doing that. They also said they reached out to me for comment for something. I couldn't find any comment whatsoever where they did that, so you can take that as you will. But you would think that if she was still part of this stuff, if they still wanted her to be part of it, they would go in, they would try to set this record straight, but instead, they have been out and out avoiding this topic. And again, I would avoid this topic too, because this is the kind of thing that, well, it'll cause you a lot of problems in the aftermath. You're saying, hey, we're using these folks here. We're using their star power. We're using their clout to stand up for human rights. And then you find out, well, this person right here, not only have they been going after this guy, have been trying to destroy his life for over half a decade. I mean, we're talking about 6 years and counting. But as far as that right to speech, as far as the right to call out people like this, she's been trying to shut down people like that as well. Yeah, I don't think I would want that hooked to my brand. I don't know about you, but me, I would cringe, like I said, knowing that I had supported this on and off for several years. Behind the scenes that she is fuming about this too. Because again, you didn't just have the UN erase her. You had the UN bring in somebody that is a co-star with her. They pointed to them, knowing that it's going to bring up headlines about which it did for sure. Like I said, I love the fact that the media, they are forced to report on this too. I love the damage control to this, but more importantly, I love the recognition that we're seeing. People saw what she did. They heard what happened in the courtroom, and nobody wants to be connected to that. No one in their right minds, at least. But anyway, let me know what you think about this, and as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. Want to help the channel out? There are different links there. You can help out PayPal. You could go through Locals. Check out our book as well. But you being here, that is the biggest help of all. So thank you. I appreciate you. Show this to everyone. It's beautiful. But yeah, gonna end here. Thank you again. See you soon.